Welcome. Thank you so much for joining us. We had so much fun playing the Twitch game last week. Um, we love these characters. We love getting to play in Ellomyr. And we loved getting to interact with you guys in the chat. So we're hoping to do that again today. Our audio should be even more beautiful. Some Rights helped us out with some beautiful new Numenera plans. So we had the hookup. And yeah, we're really excited. If you are interested in kind of influencing our narrative, we wanted to do a thing where if we reach 3,600 backers, which is kind of daunting to say, but we're nearly there anyway. At that point, we will trigger a special GM intrusion by Monty. So spread the word, let people know that you're watching the Twitch stream, and otherwise, I will turn it over to Monty again to give us the last time on the ninth world or whatever.
So hey everybody, like Darcy said, this is sort of part two. We had part one last week. So what's going on is that four intrepid explorers from the town of Ellomyr have come to a place called the Valley of Sins, which is this place that is reportedly filled with the remnants of some prior world, and hopefully there to find some ciphers or some iotum or something of great value there. Last time, our explorers have a vehicle that they call the Gambedo, and it is this kind of limbed thing that lopes and leaps along and carries them to where they need to go. Do we have a picture of that up? Cool. You might be muted, Darcy.
So I am.
So, traveling here to the Valley of Sins, the four of you are explorers, and I'm going to have you introduce yourselves here in just a minute. Traveled to the valley, saw that in the middle of the valley there is this enormous structure, very intimidating, very tall structure, but it is surrounded by this blue mist. And you've been told about the blue mist. You've been told that it's very, very dangerous to go into it, and it will literally turn you inside out because supposedly it somehow knows if you ever lied in your life, and if you have, it exposes those lies by exposing your innards. You don't know if that's, it sounds a little fable-like, but you also know that the Numenera can do very strange things. But you perhaps wisely steered clear of that and instead explored other parts of the valley. The valley is thick and lush with greenery and filled with life. Animals of all types, insects, birds, weird little lizards, all kinds of things. But perhaps most notably last time was a horrible rampaging sort of apex predator creature that terrified everyone, and you barely escaped from, and took actually some pretty grievous wounds from it as you were escaping. You found some strange Numenera installations where there was something about shifting into another time or something. You're not 100% sure how it worked. You thought that you were sending the predator into another time, but it turned out you were actually sort of somehow creating your own temporary time bubble or something that you were inhabiting. But anyway, you've escaped that, even though it seemed like you were perhaps trapped. And in your explorations, you managed to find some ciphers. You made some really interesting discoveries with this weird pedestal that can create this time bubble. So you get 2 XP each for these discoveries that you made. While you were exploring, you also encountered 2 NPCs, a man by the name of Farragon and his companion general direction. It's much farther up the valley. So after spending a night.
Sorry, Monty, could you repeat the last thing you just said? I muted sound unexpectedly. Just recently. So we were, there's this exciting cave.
Okay, right. Farragon and Neem told you about this cave that they never got a chance to explore, but they kind of wanted to because it looked interesting. And they give you the location of it, which is much farther down the valley, far enough that now that you have returned back to your vehicle, you might want to take it, or you could walk. It's your choice. Some of you were hurt in the encounters that you had previously, but your right friend, Ghela, has a device that she built herself on board the Gambedo, which can provide you with some healing. You can literally rebuild and restore flesh.
All you have to do is stick your limb in my cube. Super easy.
Big enough to fit like my torso.
No. No, sorry, Yaron, it is not.
Syl feels weird about the machine, but once she tries it and gets sort of restored and rejuvenated by it, she's adamant that we have to take this with us to the cave. We are not leaving this machine behind. It
is quite large and bulky, but maybe you can figure out a way.
It's 3 feet by 3 feet. And anyone who just wants to stick their arm or leg into it gets 3 points to a pool of their choice.
Ooh, should we go by and introduce all our characters real quick, just so for people who might have missed it last time? As we're healing, we can have the shot by shot.
Absolutely. Bruce, you want to introduce your character, and you can talk about a little bit why you're here too.
Hey, I'm Bruce Cordell, and I'm playing the character Sunal, who's a delve who breaks down walls. And he recently came to the city, the community of Ellomyr, with his sister Ghela, and he is very excited to continue to go out and explore and bring back the treasures of the prior worlds back to the community, but then go off again and continue exploring, because really that is what he's all about. And he's a little sad to discover, as on this last journey, that maybe Ghela is not quite as excited about their partnership as he had thought.
I guess that leads to me. I'm playing Ghela, a gregarious wight who possesses a shard of the sun. And as Sunal said, I'm Sunal's sister, and I've sort of fallen in love with Ellomyr, and have realized that I am maybe getting a little tired of this delving life where we go from place to place. But I know that Sunal will never give it up. And so I'm very torn right now between my desire to go with Sunal and protect him with the things that I make and help him with the things that I make, and stay in Ellomyr and make my home there. And I've kind of convinced Syl to come along with us, even though she may not know it, in the hopes that it's possible that she could become eventually a replacement for me at Sunal's side.
Excellent. Maybe I'll take it up. So I'm Darcy Ross. I'll be playing Syl. Her real name is Esyllt, but she pronounces it differently every time. So everyone has just taken to calling her by the phoneme that she stays consistent to, which is Syl. She has been, in contrast to this sibling pair, she has been in Ellomyr all of her life. She's the eldest of Gernur's granddaughters. So if you've been following the narrative, we can all have a little moment of silence for Gernur, who we lost recently. So she knows Ellomyr very well, but she, this whole, all the events that have been happening to Ellomyr lately have been leading her to realize that there's a whole big world out there that her skills may actually make her useful for. So she's kind of excited to be following these 3 more worldly people around. And I think she's kind of learning something from each of them. So let's see, it was Yaron who accidentally picked her up with his ability to control gravity one day. There was just a lot going on. And so she was sort of falling to the ground, and she found herself phasing through it a little bit. And that's how she learned that she has some abilities to control nanites and matter in ways that she didn't know before. So she's been slowly learning how to use that phasing ability more and more. So her character sentence is, She's Syl, a swift jack who exists partially out of phase.
And I'm Sean Reynolds, and I'm playing Yaron, who is an Arcus who controls gravity. He is from Ellomyr, so he knows Syl pretty well, and he used to work for the leader of the town, Syl's grandfather. So when he passed, he was kind of in a role of, well, do I take on a leadership role, or do I look after the members of his family? Which is why I am here now, supposedly as the leader of this expedition, trying to get more Numenera and iotum for the defense of Ellomyr, but specifically to make sure that Syl is safe.
All right, so you have the chance to rest. The inside of the Gambedo is not particularly roomy, but you could sleep inside there if you wanted to. You wouldn't want to, it's sort of like sleeping in your car. It's about that level of comfort. But regardless, that will allow you to recover some points in your various pools, and plus Ghela's device can also help with that. And then I need to know what you're going to do next. Are you going to pursue this cave? And if so, are you going to walk, or are you going to leap and bound?
I think we should take the Gambedo, because we might have a very heavy stash of Numenera objects to bring back, and there's only so much I can carry. And I'm sure Syl can carry a lot more, but even with my gravity powers, there's only so much I can do.
Totally.
Plus, you don't want to mess up your cloak with, carrying all that dirty stuff.
That's right.
Very true.
If we bring the Gambedo, we can also bring the automender rather than having to carry that, because it's like 3 feet by 3 feet. So it actually takes up a lot of space in the vehicle, I'm guessing. Maybe we tied it on top.
Healing sleep.
All right, who operates the Gambedo when you're moving around? Probably someone with some skill with the Numenera, I imagine.
Well, one time a nano came to Ellomyr, and they had a strange vehicle, and they did, little laps around our village and gave people little rides, and it was a great time for everybody. And in telling you this anecdote, I actually inspire all of you to be trained in driving.
Ooh, I like it.
All right.
So now we can all be backseat drivers, essentially.
I also have some navigation, so I'll take the wheel for a little bit, just since they told us where the cave was. Maybe I'll try and use that navigation in conjunction with driving to find it.
It would probably take a few hours to walk, but you're guessing, 10 minutes in the Gambedo, and maybe 15, and you should be there. It's not a long distance.
Okay, I'll take the controls and try and get us there.
Okay. So like I mentioned before, the Gambedo doesn't really fly, and it doesn't have wheels. It literally sort of has mechanical legs, and it leaps and bounds and moves. But inside, there must be some kind of gyroscopic sort of thing, because it's not too uncomfortable. You're not getting sick or anything as you move, but you can definitely tell that you're moving. And so, Sunal, you use your training in navigation, and you think basically you're staying along the ridge line, and you move farther down the valley. You get to about where you think the cave would be. Getting to the cave itself is going to require going down into the valley again, and that would require moving through some pretty thick trees and underbrush and whatnot, which you think maybe the Gambedo could do, but the thicker the terrain, the more difficult the terrain, and the thicker the woods, the more chance you would have of damaging your vehicle.
So as I'm going along and I see this, and I think to myself, now if I were to judge this on a difficulty of 1 to 10 of getting my Gambedo down there, where would I peg it around? Out of curiosity. It might be, if you were going to try to do it safely,
without damaging the vehicle, you'd probably peg it at about maybe halfway, 4, maybe 5. On a scale of 1 to 10.
So this is probably an intellect-based task, right? If I were to do it. So I think that unless people really want to try and convince me to do that, I'm going to explain that it's going to be a little dangerous. I think I'll just stop us right here.
I figure if you're saying something's a little dangerous, we shouldn't do it. You've got a lot of bravado.
Syl phases her face back through the machine and looks just a little disappointed, but then remembers, certain death and the whole last session, and acquiesces.
That's right. We did make a lot of discoveries last session, and maybe that was worth some XP or something. Would make me rethink my.
Oh, I'm sorry. I thought I had mentioned. 2 XP for everyone.
Woo-hoo.
You can save those for character advancement, or you can use them in the session for rerolls.
I'll still stick by what I just said, even though I have XP. Thank you.
Sorry about that. Thought I mentioned it.
Maybe I just
We're anticipating needing that for rerolls, I'm guessing.
Yeah, we can pretend to not have heard that in about 15 minutes and we get 2 more XP.
I like this plan. This is a good plan.
Yep. So I'll park it, and I guess we'll start battening down the hatches. And
Okay. When you exit the vehicle, again, you're sort of on the ridge line at this. You can see the valley sloping down to the valley floor ahead of you. Thick trees, buzzing insects everywhere. But the thing that you notice almost immediately is that despite the fact that you have moved what you're guessing to be, at least a mile or 2, if not more. Actually, almost certainly more like 2 or 3 miles. You still see the central structure in the valley, and it looks exactly as far away as it used to, still enshrouded by the weird blue mist. But there is a difference this time, and that is circling sort of at one of the higher points, like way toward the top, seemingly sort of in orbit, are what look like some creatures that you would almost describe not so much flying as swimming through the air. They are almost fish or eel-like as they move. And just judging from the distance, although maybe now you're starting to question the distance to that thing at all, but you would guess that these things are maybe 15, 20 feet long at least. And it looks like there's 5 or 6 of them.
And this is above the structure in the center of the valley.
Yes, which is to say that very far away.
Try not to think about those and ask Sunal which way to the cave.
If Sunal has navigated correctly, it should just be down, descending about halfway down toward the valley floor.
Yep, I will. Once we're all out and we're ready to go, I'll continue my navigation task, on foot, if necessary, to get us there.
We don't see any signs of the hunter, the predator.
No.
Okay.
I'm going to take a minute, and I'm going to Syl's day job in Ellomyr is kind of apothecary person. So she's going to kind of look like she's really steeling herself for battle, and she's going to pull out some vials and kind of, those citrus squeezers. She's got one of those, and she squishes some strange fruit into a vial, and she's creating a deadly poison that she can use to coat her little daggers with. So she's ready for anything now. She's battle hardened. We can do this.
The war fate.
All right. Okay. Heading into the thick forest, it is slow going. If anything, it's thicker here than it was where you were before. And so you're kind of cutting your way through underbrush and pushing aside branches and leaves and whatnot. And Gael, you hear something. Seems to be coming off kind of to your right, and it sounded like perhaps a really strong wind, or perhaps like a whispery sound.
Is that to me?
Yes.
Okay.
I'm sorry. Did I say your name wrong?
No, I just
Ghela?
I think you just cut out for a second, so I didn't want
Oh,
to.
I'm sorry.
That's okay. It's all
Yes.
good. Okay, so off to my which direction, right?
Kind of off to your right. Yes.
I kind of lean and listen for like another second before I say anything. Do I hear? Does it change? Do I hear any like? Just continue.
You don't hear it anymore.
Okay, I'm gonna assume that it's nothing at this point and continue walking. I regret that later, I'm sure.
Okay. So you continue on, and now, Ghela, you hear it again, but this time it sounds less like the wind and more like a very harsh whisper.
Okay.
And it is saying to you, "Come here." And you get 2 experience points.
Thank you.
Because this is a gem intrusion, and you feel just down in the very core of your being, there's a compulsion there to do what this thing is saying. The rest of you, by the way, don't hear or notice any of this.
I'm going to give my XP to Sunal because he's gotten me out of many, many scrapes, and here's to hoping that happens again. I'm gonna articulate that. Like, are you guys hearing this whisper? Like, I'm feeling like this thing is pulling at me.
I need you to make that intellect defense roll, though.
So I'm sorry, I was talking over that. 19.
Oh, wow. Okay. So like I said, you feel that really strong compulsion, but you have the wherewithal to resist it. You remain in control of yourself, even as you feel like, one of your legs beginning to move in the direction, you stop yourself. And then you can ask your companions.
Okay, I'm going to say, did that happen to you guys? Did you just hear that? I felt like this thing pulled me in this direction, but then it stopped.
Esyllt, it took her flex skill in perception today, and she's usually got a pretty keen ear, but I assume she also did not hear it.
Nope.
Mm.
Nope. You just hear the buzzing of insects and the singing of birds.
Esyllt is dipping some arrows into her little vial of poison. She's ready.
I heard nothing. Where did it come from?
It came off from my right, and it felt like my leg was moving of its own volition. Did you see it? It kind of twitched.
That second time, the first time you heard it, it seemed like it was way off in the distance. That second time, it sounded like it was just right there.
Okay. I say that part too.
I think we should check it out, lest it continue to try and come after us.
Yeah, do we have anything to protect ourselves from this kind of thing?
Only our strong force of will, which I have plenty of.
Is it dark or is it full daylight? It's just lots of foliage getting in the way and inhibiting our view?
Unless you guys tell me otherwise, I'll assume that you left right away the next morning. So it's early mid-morning. The sun is shining. It's actually a beautiful day.
Pull out my hammer. Oh, go ahead.
I was saying we don't see anything. I'm guessing, like if we look over in that direction,
just trees and bushes and vines.
Okay.
I will, be looking very closely as I walk very slowly with my hammer out in that direction.
Okay. Why don't you make an intellect-based roll? This is for your looking around, your perception.
Okay.
So if you're trained in that, you can add that. You can.
I'm trained.
Okay.
6.
Okay. There seems to, as you look through the foliage and the leaves and whatnot, there seems to be perhaps a person, or something. It's hard, you really only kind of catch a glimpse of a shadowy kind of figure, but it looks there's a human shape there, at least for a moment, and then nothing, just trees.
Bruce, you're muted.
There's someone here, I say.
Was it a big person? Syl whispers.
It's someone who's moving very, very stealthily, as if a shadow, I say, and I look at Syl.
Shadow. She pulls a strange glove made out of synth out, and she's sort of furtively placing it over each finger. She's ready to use some, strange family heirloom of Numenera. But she's not doing anything yet.
Yaron, you hear a harsh, whispery voice, and it says, "Stay perfectly still." And you need to make an intellect defense roll to resist doing exactly what it's telling you to do.
I will apply a level of effort.
Okay.
I rolled a 4.
Unfortunately, even with your effort, you try as hard as you can to break through the compelling force that is sort of in your brain, but you can't, and your limbs just go stiff. And the rest of you see, none of you hears anything, but the rest of you see Yaron's body just go rigid.
You've seen me do this before. Since things startled me, and I just...
It's okay, Yaron. We'll figure out what's going on. Don't worry.
We've seen enough and enough that we no longer make fun of you for it. Okay, Yaron, what did you see that scared you? Oh no.
He does not reply.
Oh gosh.
I follow that gaze. I have an asset in all things that related to perception that involves sight.
Oh, great. Then go ahead and make a roll for that. And you'll reduce the difficulty by 1. You'll ease the task by 1.
5.
Roll a 5. For a moment, you thought you saw something or someone, but then nothing. And about that same time, Sunal, you hear a harsh sort of whisper, and it says, "Stand perfectly still." And you need to make an intellect defense roll.
Okay. All right, so I'm going to apply a level of effort as well. And I'll spend 1 of my XP.
The characteristic Bruce roll.
8. 8 with level of effort.
Unfortunately, you also cannot resist the compulsion, and you all see Sunal freeze, as if playing a child's game of freeze tag. He just, you can tell that he's not. He's still breathing or whatever, but he's just not moving.
Yeah, that freaks me out. Sunal's never done that before that I know of.
Syl gets real spooked, and so her hair kind of, floofs up Miyazaki style a little bit. Her hair is standing on end. Unless something horrible happens to me immediately, I'm going to vanish. So
okay.
Last time she just learned how to kind of willingly phase out of existence a little bit. And so it's kind of harder to attack me and pretty hard to see me until I do something. So I give my companions like a strong look before I do that to make sure they realize it's not that I'm disappearing unintentionally. So
well, 2 of them don't seem to pay any attention to you at all.
And Ghela is rethinking her choice to bring you since you just keep vanishing on us.
Well, after Syl vanishes, Ghela, you hear a harsh whispering voice again, and it says, "Come here." and you need to resist its influence again.
I don't want to. 14.
But
I'm not trained in anything.
You are able to resist it.
What do you want?
And at that point, you all see a strange creature. And you're not even really sure if the word creature is correct. It's as though all of the plant life around you suddenly sort of moves to form a very vaguely humanoid kind of form. You see a skull-like head and maybe some limbs, but they're formed literally as the vines and the leaves and the branches just kind of all come together. And this happens right next to you, Ghela.
Right. Move back.
Okay. And right now, Esyllt, do you want to take an action? You have vanished.
Yes. Yes, I have. It doesn't seem to have noticed me really yet, right?
It seems to be very focused on Ghela at the moment.
Sorry, Ghela. That thing, based on the picture, looks a lot bigger than me. Am I correct in that assessment?
It's actually, no, it's about human-sized. I mean, a large, maybe like a 6.5 foot tall man kind of size. I'm
going to kind of prepare an action. I want to hear, I know that Ghela can usually, Ghela knows more about the world than I do. So I'm nervous that I will do something that will mess it up, but I've got a poisoned arrow knocked. And so, but I am not firing until, and I'm sort of stepped back away. So, yeah, but I'm waiting.
And Ghela, it is your action.
So just so I understand, how close am I to the thing, the creature?
You're right next to it.
And
it formed sort of next to you.
And then also these, where are Sunal and Yaron? Are they like also sort of close or farther away?
Everyone's real close together.
Okay. And so it actually has a head, and so I'm gonna try to talk to it, I guess.
Okay.
Because I don't really know what else to do, and I'm gregarious, so I'm gonna say, what is it that you want? What do you want from us? Is there something that we can do for you without you trying to mind control us?
And the vines and the leaves and branches that have kind of fused together to look like a limb reach toward you, like right toward your forehead, and it just says, "Hungry."
Okay, nope. Okay, that's not how we have a conversation. I am stepping back out of range.
No, thank you, evil.
Thank you, evil.
We don't do that here.
All right. And so, Ghela, do you want to take it? All you did was kind of say something. Do you want to take any other action? Or it hasn't really acted. It is only sort of reacted to you.
I'm a people and machine person, so this sort of thing made of plant material is not a thing that I know how to do it. Am I close enough that I could push Sunal away from it? Like, I know that he's stuck, but hopefully without making him fall over like a statue and breaking into pieces, I would like to sort of find a way to get him out of the range a little bit of this creature.
Okay. You do that.
Okay.
You give him a push, and it's not like he's magically frozen or something so that he breaks off a piece or something. It's as though he is just trying as hard as he can to remain stock still, and he's doing such a good job of it, in fact. And here's another GM intrusion for the same encounter. This is going toward Sunal. This is for you, Bruce. When your sister pushes you out of the way, she gets you out of the way. In fact, she pushes you so hard, and you are trying so hard to stand still that she knocks you over, and because you're on an incline, is the sort of this you just start rolling down the
oh my god,
and through the underbrush and the grass and the leaves and everything, you're just rolling down the hill. And at this point, that breaks whatever kind of crazy compulsion you've got going on in your head. But you're in the middle of just a sort of a uncontrolled free roll down the hill, and you're bumping into things and whatnot. So you can try to get control of yourself and stop your fall, or something else. What would you like to do?
I will try and presumably this is a speed task to try and gain control myself. So I'll try and do that. Apply a level of effort.
Okay.
I'm not trained in catching myself from fall. Just a level of effort. I get an 11.
Okay. So you manage to stop your fall, and you only take 1 point of damage from minor bruises and scrapes and stuff as you roll down the hill.
Excellent. And I have light armor, so I scuff up my armor.
Yes, I will say that can protect you from this.
Oh, okay. I'm going to give the one other XP to the other person who's still in trouble, which is Yaron.
Okay. And I think I still need to know what Syl is going to do.
I was wondering if I'm an apothecary person. I kind of know the local plant life. Do I know it? I'm trying to figure out if it's, I'm hoping I don't have to shoot this thing, because I think I'm not going to be good at shooting this thing. So I'm trying to figure out if there's something it's hungering for that we could give it that is not our nature. Can I ascertain anything about this creature, or is it totally just too weird? Is this too out of my wheelhouse to even have a hope of understanding?
It is within the realm of possibility that Syl could come up with an idea using knowledge that she has. That would be an intellect-based roll.
Okay, let's give it a shot. I'll spend a level of effort. I rolled a 10, and I've spent a level of effort. Does that give me anything, or is it still confusing?
There was something about the way it reached for Ghela's head, and the fact that your friends, at least some of them, seem to be interacting with it, but you actually haven't heard anything that makes you think that there's something mental going on here. And if you put those things together, when it says that it's hungry, although you didn't actually hear that, you just saw it kind of reach for Ghela, you're thinking that whatever it wants, it must also be mental in relation.
Cool.
Brains.
Yeah. My answer to that is an arrow to the head. It would be ideal. So I have nothing to do with that. So I'm not sure if I can act this round, or if that was my turn sort of pondering.
No, you can. Sure, you can.
Cool. I'm going to, fight. I'm going to, I've hopefully stepped far enough back away from the rest of my crew that I could draw its attention away from the other person who's paralyzed. So Yaron,
it still seems to be focused pretty heavily on Ghela.
Okay, cool. But I'm sort of off to the side from everybody just to pull it in a different direction, and I'm going to loose an arrow at it.
Okay.
So let's see. This is a poison tipped arrow, so hopefully it hits. Let's see. I rolled a 9, so it only hits a level 3.
Okay. Well, this thing seems to be pretty easy to hit because it doesn't really seem to be moving. It has a form, and it can move a little bit, but it's still attached to all of the plants and everything that it's using for its mass. So you hit.
Awesome. If the poison works like it does on sort of humans that I know about, that did 4 points of damage from the arrow, and then it does 5 points of damage from the deadly poison that I crafted.
It does not react in any way that makes you think that the poison is effective against it.
Okay.
However, the blow and the slice from the arrow seems to just send a shudder through the whole thing. It seems to have done some significant damage, at least to the plants that make this thing up. But that is not enough to stop it from continuing its attempt to reach out and grab Ghela basically by the face.
No, thank you.
So you're going to need to make a speed defense roll.
All right, I'm not trained in any of this, and I rolled 17.
Wow, nice. Being quick on your feet, you manage to get back. This thing just grabs through the air and doesn't react otherwise.
It seems quite fast for a plant-like thing, right? I mean, this is...
It does, but it seems clearly like it can't, like, it is attached.
Ambulate.
Right, it can ambulate, exactly.
Okay.
It can move within sort of this range of movement as it kind of stretches the vines and the branches and whatnot. All of this activity on its part seems to have had some positive effect on you, Yaron. You don't feel compelled anymore. In fact, you kind of mentally intuit that this thing is just no longer even aware of you anymore. It just you don't exist.
That's offensive.
I was going to get you next, I swear.
Witness me.
So you can take an action.
I'm going to draw my knife because I think my dart thrower might not be too effective against this.
Okay.
I'm going to try slashing at, I'll try slashing at some of the parts that connect it to the nearby foliage to see if we can separate this body shape from the other plants nearby.
Okay.
And I will apply a level of effort to that because why not?
Okay.
And I rolled a 9.
All right. You strike this thing.
All right.
And so it's a knife, so you already were reducing, you're already easing the task, so you definitely slice through it, and that's 2 points of damage?
2 points.
Okay, so you cut through a branch that was kind of anchoring it on its left side, and the whole left side of it kind of falls away a little bit, and with that, all of those vines and branches and whatnot just kind of fall limp, and you can it doesn't lose the shape that it was given entirely. You can still kind of make out a skull-like face in there, but it's clearly not animate plant material anymore. It's just leaves and branches. And
so the whole thing just kind of downscales.
Well done, Yaron.
With one blow.
Sunal, you've rolled down the hill. You're maybe, I don't know, 50, 60 feet away from your companions. And you hear kind of almost like a wind or whisper not very far from you, off to your left. What do you do?
I was actually about ready to reach my pocket and grab out some adaptive synth to try and create some sort of, that's not going to work. I will look and see where this wind is coming from, and I'll grab my hammer instead.
Okay. As you watch, you can see the vines and the leaves and whatnot begin to move as though molded by an invisible sculptor's hands as they come together and form what looks like a vaguely humanoid shape.
I'm going to take my hammer and smash that vaguely humanoid shape.
Okay.
If possible.
Go ahead. Make your attack roll.
Has it been more than 28 hours since I put my density nodule on my hammer from previous time we played?
Probably not.
Oh, okay. All right.
Because that was in the afternoon, and this is the next morning.
Oh, yeah. All right. So I'll give it a swing. I'll apply a level of effort to this might task.
It's a medium weapon?
It is.
Okay.
I'll actually roll above a 10. I roll a 15.
Nice. That is a good solid hit. Is that 4
And
points of damage?
that'll be 6 points because I have the density nodule on.
Oh, right. Very nice. Okay. So your super dense hammer smashes into this thing's newly formed kind of woody skull and just smashes in one side of it. It flutters and moves and kind of reacts as though it was a living creature, but also not entirely. And so I'm going to cut back to the other 3 of you that are together. What are you doing now?
I also yell really loudly to make sure that they hear me fighting this thing.
Okay. Aha! So you don't see Sunal at the moment, but you hear him.
We have to go help Sunal.
Sorry, go ahead.
I was just going to say we have to go help Sunal.
Did he leave kind of like almost a path of like crushed plants and stuff down that way?
You do not think it would be hard to follow the path that he inadvertently made.
And it should be a roughly straight path, right?
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to do something kind of weird.
Really?
I want to jump out in that direction, like as if I were going to fall. But then as I start to like hit, or as I get close to hitting the ground, I'm just going to activate my hover ability to slow my fall. Basically, I'm just trying to like shorten that by just doing oh, I'm going to die with this jump. Oh, I'm okay. Sort of landing at the end.
Okay.
Cape flaring.
I'm going to watch this.
Dramatic cape in the background. Da, 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 da.
All right. You kind of Superman your way down the distance. It will take you your action to do that and get down to where you can see Sunal, but you see him, you do, and he seems to be engaged with the same creature that you thought you just defeated, or perhaps a different one.
I'm ready to defeat this one as well. I will save you, Sunal. Don't worry.
Ghela, what about you?
So are you still vanished, or are you visible?
She's visible.
Me? I'm back visible.
Oh, she's visible. Okay. So, all right. So I see that Yaron is going after Sunal to help him. I'm actually going to turn to Esyllt and say, do you think we should follow, or should we figure out where to go that there are less of these so we can lead away for those guys?
Well, I'm worried about leaving them if it can totally freeze one of them up. I think we need the numbers, right?
Yeah, I think so too.
I'm wondering, Esyltt's like looking around in the trees, trying to look for like a place she can kind of run to and scurry up and get a good vantage point with the bow. Is there anything like that, or do I really have to go get down in the fray? Do I specifically have to roll down the hill to get there?
You don't have to roll down the hill. You can keep to your feet, or you don't have to fly down the hill. You don't have to roll down the hill. But you don't. You think that they are far enough away that there isn't really a good vantage point where you are, but you don't think you'd have to go all the way right up into the fray before you can take an action.
Well, we both have ranged weapons, right? So maybe we should go only as far as we need to, and then see if we can help from there together.
That sounds great.
Okay, we're going to do that carefully.
Okay, both of you can move an immediate distance and then see Sunal engaged in a fight with either the thing again or another thing, whatever it is, this plant creature. And yeah, go ahead.
Does it look like we could take shots from here without actually hitting like Sunal and Yaron? Okay. We should do that then, don't you think?
Mm-hmm.
Absolutely.
Okay. All right. Well, I have a buzzer, so I'm going to crank up my buzzer.
Okay. And you shoot a spinning razor disc out of your buzzer with electromagnetic force.
I rolled an 11.
Okay. Is that a light weapon?
It is a light weapon.
Okay. Your buzzer blade then slices right through the middle of this thing, cutting a fast swath, not unlike a weed eater would do so to this thing. And that it seems to be, it seems to hurt it, or at least, cut away at its supports. So
Syl takes Syl is emboldened by that beautiful show of force by Ghela, and she thinks, maybe we can do this. This isn't the predator; it's a different situation. So she fires off an arrow with a big old bow, and it's a 16. So
okay, that is also a hit. 4 points of damage, right?
You got it. Mm-hmm.
All right, that slices through sort of a major branch that was supporting a lot of its mass, and the majority of the human-shaped thing made out of plant material kind of loses cohesion. Half of it falls to the ground with a crash of leaves and pine needles and whatnot, and there's just sort of a half-formed skull that's been bashed in by a hammer, just kind of hanging from a vine there. And then all of you hear in your head a harsh, whispery voice that says, "I will return. Sleep well."
Oh, I don't like it.
And then there's nothing else.
All right, this forest is the worst place ever.
Good job, team.
This is how Yaron and I are different. Like, this sucks.
Just like us to overcome yet another challenge, I say, and I clap Yaron on the back.
Yeah, I think Syl and Ghela shared this look of like, this is nothing to celebrate.
What are we doing?
Oh goodness.
It is at that point that all of you sort of notice that the thing that that Sunal used to stop his fall looks kind of interesting. You could have just walked right by it, but instead you now notice that it appears to be not a tree trunk, but like a synth obelisk, and there's some weird grooves on it that raise up and down, but it's also dirty and covered in leaves and whatnot, and there's some vines wrapped around it. It's obviously been here for a very, very long time.
I'll turn to Sunal and say, "Well, why didn't you just say that this was here? You didn't have to go charging down the hill." Ghela, come down and look at this.
I'm sorry I pushed you, Sunal. I'm sure it reminds us of when we were kids and we would fight each other on the edge of cliffs. Can we?
You think after the last time, I say.
Can we see that from where Syl and I are? That obelisk.
Yes.
Okay.
When you all see it.
As soon as Yaron points it out, my demeanor's probably totally going to change, and I'm just going to go charging for it because that's my kind of thing.
Okay. It looks like it's probably about maybe 10 or 12 feet tall, 12 to 14 inches in diameter, relatively smooth, but like I said, there's a series of weird grooves in it.
Cool. As soon as I get a chance, I'm gonna check it out.
Okay. How are you checking it out? You're just using perception to look for anything strange? Are you?
Well, I am enlightened, which means that I have an asset in perception, but I'm also trained in understanding Numenera. And so I want to use that skill and, just do the thing where I check out the grooves and I check it. And if it seems like I can brush off the dirt without, making it start and sending us into some weird time loop or something, I'm going to do that too. I want to just kind of look it over and see if we can figure out what it does. Does it work? Okay.
While she's doing this, taking her time at trying to figure this out, is anyone else doing anything?
If someone else will keep watch, I'll help my sister, brush off things, hold this while she does Y, that kind of thing.
Just don't take it apart until I'm done.
No,
That's all I ask.
A thought strikes Syl. She's tapping her mouth like that, and she's curious whether she's likes to make poisons. She's curious whether anything that this horrible creature left behind. You know, if it is something that is telepathic or something, she's wondering if there's any weird materials, or if maybe it uses some kind of Numenera that she could make use of. Does it look like the plants are special, or are they just, you know, if it was just the spirit inhabiting them?
So when you take a look at it, you're not seeing anything that seems out of the ordinary. And in fact, what you're seeing is that it's as though all the plants just in a very immediate area, their very mass, it was just sort of drawn in and formed the shape that this thing maybe wanted it to shape. There's lots of very intricate weaves and whatnot to give this creature its structure. But you also remember seeing the other one, and it was made out of like a couple of completely different plants. So there doesn't seem to be anything special other than that. And Yaron, were you going to keep watch? Okay. You don't see anything of danger, but you do see, not very far away, amid some large dark gray stones, what looks like a cave. Not very far away at all.
I will point that out to everybody else when they aren't distracted by.
Okay. So, Ghela, I think we need a roll from you.
So I am trained in understanding Numenera and I have an asset in perception. I don't know if the second one will help me.
Okay.
And I roll an 18. Man, this dice really likes 18.
That's a good dice to have then.
I know.
Good die to have. So you, so it is not so much your skill and knowledge of the Numenera as it is just your keen eye that makes you realize that with just some manipulation of something in between one of the grooves, you think that at least part of this obelisk could just open up.
Oh.
Like you could gain access to the interior of it if you wanted to for some reason.
Do I have a sense of what it would do?
No, it's like you found almost like a little set of doors or a hatch or that kind of open.
Why would I not open that, really?
I can think of some reasons.
I glance around without saying anything and see if anyone disagrees with my unspoken plan, and then I very carefully open the doors.
Okay. That's pretty easily done. There is kind of a click and then a hiss sound. You get the feeling as though the interior of this has been sealed for a very, very long time. And when you see the inside of it, it is also, it's like you're seeing the inside, the hollow inside of this obelisk, but the sides are all perfectly smooth, absolutely clean. You get the feeling that you are looking upon something that looks exactly like it probably did in some incredibly distant prior world.
Wow.
Inside of it, there are a number of pegs or hooks or something that look like that was a way to perhaps store items. Those items are all gone except for one. And Darcy, you have an illustration to show everyone of what this item is.
I'm a little afraid to look.
Ooh.
It's a sort of U-shaped device, but it's got a clear handle to it, and maybe some controls or something. Clearly a Numenera device.
Ooh, that looks cool.
And does it look really pristine, like the rest of this room? Wow.
Absolutely pristine, yeah.
I've probably never seen anything like that, right?
Probably not.
Not so clean and pristine.
I don't want to, I'm afraid to touch it. It's so beautiful.
Syl kind of calls down, "What you find in there?" I assume it's too big for all of us to like cram in, but she's trying to peek. Oh, she's maybe trying to face through it, through the side. Get a good look.
I did Ghela in the ribs. I said, I bet you there's some good iotum in that.
No.
Oh gosh, we just hit the backer count we needed to hit to trigger a special GM intrusion. What a fortuitous time.
Oh, that's,
oh no, my device.
that's good news for all of you. Well, it would be terribly unfair of me to do this as a GM intrusion that didn't award you XP, but it will be a group intrusion because so that means everyone gets 1 XP. And what you see is nice. What you see, it's actually Yaron who will see it first because Yaron's on watch still. It seems to almost be just as Ghela opens up the interior of this small little obelisk and exposing this interior storage, that you see one of those creatures that was sort of circling the top of the tower. It clearly starts taking an interest in your specific direction, and it begins to almost eel-like worm its way through the air toward you. And it moves pretty fast, but it's got a long ways to go.
Folks, there's one of those flying things coming our way. Get out your big weapons.
What big weapons?
Let's hope this is a big weapon. When we look up, can we see it too?
Yes.
Okay.
You think you've got at least a few rounds before this thing will reach you.
All right, I'm going to take one of those and figure out what this amazing device is.
Okay.
Or try to.
So we're right near that cave too, right? We're not in it, right? This is inside the obelisk outside the cave?
Yes. Yes, you're very close to the cave.
I think I'm going to not go in the cave, but I'm going to go like jog over, and I'm good at running, so I can move pretty fast and around and just try to get the lay of it and see if there's movement inside or if that might be a place to take shelter.
Okay.
Cool.
So what you see is there's some, like I said, dark gray stones kind of surrounding this cave entrance, but you're not sure this is actually a cave entrance at all because the rocks seem to be partially covering up what is a very regular kind of, it's not perfectly rectangular. It's wider at the bottom than it is at the top, but they're very straight lines. And within this cave, you see a very flat floor. And it looks like it might be made of metal or synth or some material that you're not familiar with. It's dark in there, but you can see some shapes that might look like machines or something. And kind of like looking into the interior of the obelisk, it is pristine in there. There's no dirt. There's no nothing. The floor has a big crack in it, but other than that, it looks pretty much untouched. And I'm going to need a roll from you, Shauna, for Ghela's attempt at figuring this thing out. But while you do that, I'm going to ask Yaron what you are doing. You're muted.
I'm going to draw my dart thrower, my little elastic band kind of crossbow thing, and be ready to shoot at it if the thing looks like it's approaching us aggressively instead of just curiously.
Okay. And to be clear, this thing is like 15 feet long.
Just a big, dumb, ninth world horse-like thing as far as we know. But it's probably some horrible predator that's going to try and eat me like the other one did.
Okay.
That seems to be my role. Giant monsters eat me.
And Sunal, what would you like to do? Anything?
I'm going to stick with Ghela for now and see what this device is, and maybe it'll be a weapon that we can direct at the entity.
Okay. Are you attempting to help her identify it? Can you do that? Do you have that?
I'm
skill?
not. I'm only skilled in salvaging, not in understanding.
Don't help.
Okay. What did you get, Shauna?
I didn't roll yet because I wanted to tell you that I was going to use. I was going to apply effort.
Okay,
This
great.
is really important, and I'm trained in understanding Numenera.
Okay.
And I roll an 18 again. This dice is making me feel like I'm like faking it.
You're gonna have to show us that.
I know. I know. It's
So
weird.
that's an excellent roll. So excellent that you not only get the idea of what this thing can do, but you learn a little bit more. So this thing, you could operate this thing right now. It basically would act as a cipher, and it would create a very powerful barrier of energy, like a force field, basically, that you could shape.
Ooh.
Using the controls and whatnot. However, you also find a part of this device that clearly affixes or attaches to something else. This is you can make it, you can use it, on its own, but it is also clearly meant to be attached to something else. But if you use it on its own, you probably can't use the larger function as well. So it would be your choice.
Well, I could try because I have extra use, but it's risky. I'm not sure I want to take that risk though. This is pretty awesome. Okay, so I feel like I should wear white gloves to take it out of its space, but I don't have those, so I won't. We'll just very carefully remove it.
I would have lent you mine.
And you have the free slot for another cipher?
I do, yeah, I'm empty.
All right.
Does it have a name just from my write-up?
No.
It's okay.
Not that you know. You're the discoverer of it, so you get to name it.
Awesome device.
Okay, so this thing is still moving closer to you, but it has not reached you yet. What does Syl want to do?
She wants to throw a glow globe into the room, hopefully not down the crack, but kind of near the center of the room. I'd like to illuminate it before I know any more.
Excellent. You throw the glow globe in, and as soon as it passes through the plane of where the door becomes very, very regular, it just disappears. However, you took as your flex skill perception.
Yes,
You see something out of the corner of your eye, on a ridge higher up in the valley, but not too far. You can still see it. There is a flash of light about the intensity of a glow globe. And when you look up there, it looks like there's another cave.
All right. She starts shouting, you guys. I found a matter transference device. I've only read about these, but I threw the glow globe through, and she's just giving this, she's explaining at a mile a minute. And I'm sure no one's listening because they're focusing on important things at the moment. But she's, functionally saying, hey guys.
Okay.
Yeah. So hopefully she's ready to run through it and escape this creature.
Yaron.
What is the eel creature doing?
It's coming closer.
All right. I'm going to... does it look like it'll reach me this round or next round? Then I'm going to take aim at it this round.
Okay. All right. You've drawn a bead on it. Sunal.
I want to come over to where Syl is experimenting with this cave mouth and see if there's any walls that need to be broken down.
Ooh.
Okay. I'm not exactly sure what that means, Bruce.
I'm going to go over and check out the cave mouth and see what's going on with this.
Okay. So you see the regular shaped doorway. You see the dark but rather pristine looking kind of corridor into a dark space. And Syl is freaking out, talking about a glow globe that she threw in, but it appeared elsewhere or something.
Okay, I'll give it a shot.
What does that mean? I don't know what that.
I'll go in.
All right.
Steal my thunder.
Oh, sorry.
No, you should totally do it. she can't even like control herself right now. She's too excited, so you should take the lead.
If it reappeared someplace, that's very interesting. If it just disappeared, then I don't want to go in.
Okay. So Syl, you watch as Sunal steps into the cave mouth and just completely disappears, just instantly. Sunal, you step into the cave, and with that step, you find yourself not inside the cave, but on top of a ridge line, sort of a ledge, a rocky ledge. You see the valley below. You can actually look down and see Syl. You're kind of positioned above her, and behind you is a cave mouth, and it looks very, very much like the one that you just tried to enter.
I'm incredibly impressed and freaked out and kind of shaking a little bit, but I'm also exultant, and I probably stupidly yell, "Oh my!" I say, "My God."
And so you immediately see him appear up there.
All right, Sylla's going to run back and drag the two stragglers through this.
Wait, just 1 second, because I want to know what Ghela does.
Ghela's have I already had a chance to grab the device?
Yes.
I am going to very carefully grab the device. I'm going to. Did I see Sunal disappear? Probably not.
Yeah, you were too busy looking at the device.
Okay. So I'm going to look over to where Syl is yelling and glance quickly at what Yaron's doing. And are we going to ask, actually, are we going to fight this thing, or should we just run for the cave? Because I don't know that the cave's weird. I think it's just a cave.
Does anyone reply?
I'm looking ready to shoot it if it gets closer. I'm like doing the sighting down my arm, not really knowing what I'm doing, but hoping this works.
I think that's too big to fight. But you're the leader.
That's true. We should investigate this cave, which is why we're here. I'll cover our retreat. How about that?
Okay, I run.
Okay, so Ghela, you join Syl at the lower cave mouth, and the creature continues to get closer. Yaron, you see as this thing's coming closer, it's covered in a really thick, glistening, kind of scaly flesh that you are really not sure if your dart thrower is going to be able to penetrate.
I'll make a tactical sort of shift towards the cave where everybody else is.
Okay.
And that means running.
Okay. And what is Syl doing?
When Syl realizes the others are actually coming, and she's not gonna be stranded or leave somebody behind, she runs through.
Okay.
Sunal.
And you, so Ghela, you see Syl run into the cave and immediately disappear. And Syl, you step into the cave and at the same time step out of the cave, a different cave, on the ridge next to Sunal.
It's a little disorienting, so she kind of, catches herself, but is
and there's a glow globe. There's a glow globe laying at your feet too.
Yes, I pick up the glow globe triumphantly and step out of the way for more people to come through. But I can't see them on the other side, right? It looks like the inside of the cave.
Yes.
Okay.
But you can look down and you can see Ghela.
Right.
At the angle you're at, you can't quite see the other cave, but you can see your friends. But where you are, Ghela, you can look up and not only see your friends, but you can see a second cave mouth.
I don't know that I would look up at this point unless they're making noise up there. So I think
I'm going to guess they're making noise, but let's find out. Sunal, what are you doing?
So I'm now that some other people, at least one of the persons up here with me, I'm just kind of, oh my gosh, can you believe it? We found some sort of matter transmission, and I'm very excited talking about it. Blah, blah, blah. Nothing good. Nothing productive.
Okay.
If it takes a second, I think Syl will stick her head back through the portal and
Okay.
try to shout. She's going to try to just phase. She phases through things. She thinks it's the same, so she's just going to try to stick her face through and say, "Come along, it's safe up here."
What do we see when that happens?
I may have to actually step through it to make it work, but
So you're going to try to phase.
mm-mm.
You're not going to.
Just trying to step halfway through. So
okay. Syl ends up back at the cave mouth by Ghela.
okay.
You try to just go halfway and you're all the way.
Right. It's safe up there. Come on. And it won't be safe here soon.
Have you seen Sunal though?
Yeah, he's
there doesn't. I mean, you can make whatever choices and assessments you want, but there doesn't seem to be anything any more safe about the ledge than down. I mean, you're still out in the open. You can still see the creature coming.
That's true, but I think we could pop back and forth, right? That's a good point. But what I would say then is,
I just want to make sure there aren't any misconceptions. You're not in. There isn't a shelter or anything.
It's not so far away. Okay.
No,
so there's no actual cave. It's just two mouths that, okay, down.
But this gets us out of its, I basically point up to the ledge and say, this will take us to Sunal up on that ledge. Let's go and get out of this thing's line of sight immediately.
Yaron says, yeah, it's coming right up on our butt. So go, please.
Let's go. Okay.
Okay. So everyone passes through. You are all standing on the ledge, which is you're glad there isn't a fifth member of your group, because there wouldn't be room for them up on this little ledge. And so you're by the cave mouth on the higher. You can see the creature. The creature still seems to be moving toward the obelisk that Ghela opened, but this thing is so big and has such a nice high vantage. And the fact that there's nowhere to hide up on this ledge, you have every reason to believe that it will, if it hasn't spotted you yet, it will spot you within a round or two. What would you like to do? I'll start with Ghela.
Okay, well, I'm so relieved that Sunal is up here and we didn't just leave him in the forest. Is there anywhere else on this ledge? Like, I mean, does it go anywhere, or is it just ledge plus cave? Like, is there a path?
It doesn't. It's just a ledge.
So whoever built this came up here for some reason that we don't know. But there is no sign like that it's a great vantage point for shooting things or.
Can you try and let's try and just see if we can find out any other controls up here or anything else that we can modify how it actually acts, so we don't just bounce back and forth back through.
That's a great idea.
Maybe there's another obelisk up here.
So who's going to take that action? Who's going to Ghela and Sunal?
Well, are we looking for Sorry.
Oh, I was just going to say I have perception, so I can just look for anything interesting.
Okay.
And I
go ahead and make that roll, Bruce. And what is Ghela doing?
I'd like to help.
Okay.
So I'm going to apply a level of effort. Am I also trained? So that will be 3 steps.
You don't even need to make a roll then.
All right, good.
You find something that you're not really sure if the lower cave entrance had this or not, or if maybe it was just covered up by a rock. You're not really sure. But there is a panel on the side of the sort of, we'll call it a door frame, that is made out of a synth-like material. And Ghela, because you're helping your brother, you recognize immediately that this is where you can attach that device that you found and activate it as a part of this door somehow. You're not 100% sure what it does, but Yaron, what do you do?
They are looking around there. So I'm going to use my hover ability and just kind of rise up a bit to see what's up above this.
Okay. You only see more trees and whatnot. Nothing particularly interesting.
Then I'm just going to keep an eye out for something that we might be able to use as a path or an easy place to climb up if we decide to go farther up.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, you find a place where it would be possible to kind of climb up and then begin to ascend up the ridge again if you wanted to. Syl.
Syl is tempted to see what phasing through this thing would do, but I think she knows better. So I think how is so I know we were having difficulty ascertaining how far away that giant structure in the middle of the valley was. Does it look any closer now? Because I know it's been No, it looks the same distance away. Mm-hmm. Okay.
It's always looked the same distance away.
Gosh. But those creatures that were swirling in the blue mist, they looked like they were near that though, right?
Yes.
So they at least can come.
And now one is very close.
Yes, I know.
In case you forgot.
Yeah, it hasn't escaped my mind. I'm just going to take a good look at it, and I'm just trying to watch it and kind of look for any weaknesses it might have, or trying to understand it a little better in case we do have to deal with this thing on a closer basis.
Okay. You are going to you give it a look, and you're going to guess that you watch as it comes up, and it's like looking almost, even though its face is almost more fish-like, it still gives the impression that it's kind of sniffing, and it's sniffing around the open obelisk. But you are guessing that at any moment it's going to just start to turn and look, and it will see you. Mm-hmm. But it currently is not paying attention to you.
Okay.
So that's basically about a round's worth of actions, I think, from everybody. Let's do it again, and we'll start with Ghela.
Okay, so I think I'd like to spend my round seeing if I can figure out what this is going to do if I connect it before I do it. Because I'm guessing it's also some kind of force field, but we want to make sure we're on the right side, and okay. So I want to figure out those kinds of things.
That'll be another Numenera roll.
And I'm trained in understanding, and I'm going to apply a level of effort.
Okay, easing it by 2 steps.
12.
You're not so clearly. You know that if you attach this thing to the doorway and activate it, you will create a force field over this entrance. You're not 100% sure what that will do, but you think that it's quite significant that you will create a force field over this entrance, but not the other one.
Interesting. Okay. I'm going to relay that to everyone else while they're doing things.
Okay. Sunal, what are you going to do?
Well, that is an interesting answer. I'm going to take something. I don't actually have a weapon or anything like that. I'm going to, what I would like to do is take a piece of responsive synth out that I was going to take before and kind of take this round to kind of mold it into like the perfect throwing thing to kind of, if I throw it next round, it'll give it a little extra oomph. But I want to throw it, and I'm saying this, I say, let's try and throw things through this portal mouth right now, and I'm kind of I'm whispering it, not saying it very loudly, to try and get that thing's attention down there. And I'm messing with this little piece of synth.
Okay. Yaron, you want an action?
Cost an intellect point.
You're muted, I think, Sean.
Ghela, do you know how long that force field will last once you install it up here?
Ghela, you think that it will? You can, because you'll be hooking it into a larger system. There will be a control, perhaps somewhere else, that will allow you to turn it off or on.
Okay.
And it might work. You might have if it's hooked into the system, it might have more than one use.
Meaning more than one barrier,
Like,
or more than I can
a
use
cipher normally
multiples?
has just the one use,
Okay.
right? So if you turned it off, it would be off. But you think hooked into the system, it's not like it will operate indefinitely, but it will have multiple uses.
Okay. I answered Yaron's question with a very pithy, quick response.
Okay.
Because and I float back down with my hyper ability, say, because if necessary, maybe we could lure it up here and activate the force field to keep it out, and then we could either trap it up here or distract it and run out through the teleporting door.
Ideally, we could get it halfway through and then turn off the teleporting.
I like the way you think.
That's good. So I still really likes the idea of throwing something through and messing with it.
Then turning on the force field.
Yeah. So she has an oddity that she would like to use. It's a hand-sized strong glass sphere that it kind of slowly rolls back to her whenever she throws it. But I think I'm going to hold off for the moment because it sounds like, how are we doing this? Are we throwing stuff this round, or are we preparing the force field first?
Well, it sounds like if we could get it to stick its head through and then Ghela could turn on the force field, we might chop its head off as an option. Might knock us off the ledge, though.
Although still popped through, and she went completely through.
Instantly.
Yeah.
There was no halfway.
So I think we'd have to bait it up here and turn the force field on when it's coming nose to us, right? I think
so the timing might be a little beyond our abilities to getting if it showed up instantly.
Right. And what I don't know is if like, say we go inside and pop the force field. Sorry, go ahead.
I was just at this point, we're still round by round here. So Yaron and Esyllt, if you have actual actions that you want to take, go ahead and take them. Otherwise, the creature is going to act. Do you want to do anything? Okay.
I'll vanish.
Okay.
What I do best.
So just as you suspected would happen, on the next round, the creature's head turns and looks around, and then, I mean, you're just up on a ledge. You're not hidden or anything. So it clearly then sees you and crosses the distance toward you. And now I need to know what it is. It is right there. And Ghela, I need to know what you do.
All right. We take a very, very quick internal vote. What are we doing? We're gonna just pop this force field.
Activate it. See what happens.
All right. I'm gonna try to activate it.
Okay. So you sort of plug it into the wall and activate it. There's a sound. There's kind of a humming sound, and the hairs on the back of your hand kind of stand on end as you are close to it. But there is no visible change in the doorway. But you can definitely feel as though the doorway now something has happened to it. There's a humming and a vibration. Sunal, what do you do?
Just to see if what I expect is true, I try and go through the doorway.
You can't. There is an invisible barrier precluding you from entering.
All right. So
I feel like we didn't do this quite right.
I guess not. The Numenera is a strange thing that eludes imagination. I'm just going to prepare to throw my little device that I created at the thing when it gets closer.
It couldn't get closer.
Oh, well then I hurl it at its face.
Okay. This is an attack, I guess?
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay. So yeah, it's basically I guess it's basically gonna give me an asset to my attack with a light weapon. So maybe two assets.
Okay.
It's a light weapon. I'm gonna re-roll. That is just too awful to accept. All right. With an XP.
Okay.
Oh, a 20.
All right.
Oh, hello.
Yay, not a 1, a 20.
So you get points back. Any points that you spent on that action, you get back. Would you like a special effect, or would you?
I
like
just want to do extra damage, so it's a light weapon. So I'd like to get 4 extra points, please. Oh no, what?
So
I'm wrong. No, I do. I want to hit it in the eye or something, so it's startled and loses its next action.
Okay, you definitely think that this weapon is so small that it really, even with 4 extra points of damage, it probably wouldn't have been very significant to this enormous thing. However, instead, you aim for one of its big, almost fish-like eyes, and you just bonk it right into its, saucer-shaped or saucer-sized eye, and it makes its whole head kind of wiggle back and forth, and it kind of reacts and moves backward. And you think you have bought yourself and the rest of the team around for sure. Yaron?
Ghela, do you think you can turn off the force field?
Yes, potentially, and here's how. If I use Scramble Machine, I can render it unable to function for 1 round, and then I'm assuming it, even though it's a cipher, it will kick back in because I'm not turning it off. I'm just making it unable to function. So we could turn it off for a round, and then it would kick back in once we go through it if we thought that would be useful.
Worth a shot. All right, then I'm going to do something crazy, brave, and leadershipy. I'm going to draw my dagger. So is this thing still flying, right?
You wouldn't really call it flying. You would call it's actually very familiar to you. It's more like it's hovering. It's more like it is. In fact, as someone who manipulates gravity yourself, you think that this thing manipulates gravity as well, only on a much greater scale than you.
All right.
But you can feel the gravity. You can feel it change and alter.
Yeah, I have a specialized organ in my chest that lets me manipulate gravity. It's twitching right now.
I'll buy that.
So here's the crazy thing I'm going to do.
Okay.
I want to draw my dagger, and in conjunction of using hover, I want to leap onto this thing's basically its neck and get ready to attack it up close to keep it distracted from everybody else.
That will be difficult this round because it has already pulled away because Sunal hit it in the eye.
Okay, then I'll be ready to do that. I'll basically be aiming to do that. Okay. And if Ghela isn't able to get the field down, then that's what I'll do. But if she is able to get the field down and we end up jumping through the doorway, then I'll be jumping through the doorway. Okay.
And what about Esyllt?
Gosh, so Esyllt is vanished. She is not sure about any of this. But she sees Yaron getting ready to leap off and do something really dangerous. So she's readying that glove cipher that she has. So you all don't know what that does yet, but hopefully she won't have to use it. But she's just readying an action and prepared to react.
Okay. So all right. So the creature doesn't act. It just kind of shakes off the fact that it got bonked in the eye, and is kind of trying to correct its vision and whatnot. And now it opens up a huge toothy maw. It seems angry, and it is Ghela's turn.
Okay, I'm gonna try to use Scramble Machine and render it unable to function for 1 round. And I'm gonna tell everyone, right, this is the plan. And they really have just a very limited amount of time to slip through this. If it works, don't run into it head first, just in case.
Okay.
And I will apply a level of effort.
Okay.
And I roll a 14.
Okay. You succeed in scrambling this device so that you can hear the buzzing of the force field just goes away.
Cool. I'm going to tell everybody to get through.
Do you want to move as well? You can take a step.
Yeah, if I can. Sure. Yeah, absolutely.
Okay. So you deactivate the device, you step through, and step back out of the other cave mouth entrance down below you.
I'm
And
a little worried
Sunal,
what happens if we go back.
What do you do?
I follow Ghela through.
Okay. Do you want to take any other actions? That's just a step.
Nope. I don't have anything else that makes current sense. So.
Okay. What about Yaron?
I spin towards this cave entrance, dramatically flaring my cape as I do so, and I will pause just a second to make sure Syl goes through.
Okay.
Syl gets a whole face full of cape, even while she's vanished.
Syl is vanished, so I'm not quite sure how you're going to know if Syl goes through.
Well, you look
Syl,
left and right.
Are you here?
Yeah. Syl will unvanish and step through, so she's
okay.
Everyone can
you
know.
Also appear at the lower cave entrance.
Then I'll reflare.
Okay. And this Syl, do you want to take another? I mean, like I said, it's just a step.
Yeah. I guess I'd like to look around this area and see if there's good cover that we could hide in. And this thing looked like it was lots of trees. Is there any like fragrant flowering plants that we could use? It seemed like it was, sniffing. She's not sure if we can confuse its senses some way.
The forest is very fragrant.
Syl goes frolicking into the forest looking for a big bunch of flowers.
Okay, so Syl
I'm not going to go far, but
goes off into the woods. Okay.
Yeah.
But she went through. Yaron, would you like to take an action?
Yes. So then I dramatically flare my cape again, only for my own benefit, and jump through the doorway.
Okay. Like I said, just a step. Do you want to do anything when you appear down at the base of the cave?
I'm going to face where the creature is, just so I can see it coming.
You see it. Can't help but see it. No other actions? Okay. So it opens its mouth wide, and it is in fact so large that as everyone but Syl is right there at this small little cave mouth, it's actually able to open its mouth wide enough to potentially bite all three of you. So all three of you need to make a speed defense roll.
Oh no!
Wait, we can get there in a round? I don't think we knew that.
I don't. What's going on?
The creature?
Yeah. How is it next to? I don't understand. I misunderstood something.
It moves. The cave mouths
so fast.
Are not
okay. It moves through the air towards us. Oh, okay.
Yes, it moves through the air towards you and bites.
Oh my god!
The round that you gained everyone was the last round. It didn't act.
Oh no, I just didn't realize how
fast it is.
So speed defense, did you say?
Yes, please.
Oh my goodness!
Oh boy.
Yeah, remember that the big tower thing in the middle looks like it is at least like a half a mile, 3/4 of a mile away, and this thing got to you in about 4 rounds.
Oh crap! Okay, I rolled a 12. I'm not trained in anything.
Okay.
Oh no, Bruce!
Okay. I'm gonna spend another XP to get rid of that one.
Oh no!
2.
Oh.
Okay.
Wait, do you need? Well, I don't know if I actually.
Yeah, that's right.
Let's see how bad it is.
What about Yaron? I didn't hear what you said.
I have the train without armor ability, so I am trained in speed defense. I will apply a level of effort on top of that.
Okay.
I roll a 16.
Okay. So Yaron is able to dodge out of the way, duck, and avoids this thing altogether. The other two of you are not so lucky, and it's huge as it moves, quick, almost like a, with the rapid speed of an eel, moves toward you, darts down, opens up its huge toothy maw, slams down on you, and each of you takes 9 points of damage.
Oh my goodness!
This is why people don't return from this place. I scream.
Oh no!
All right. And then it's your actions. Anyone have a plan, or should we just go around starting?
Scream and bleed. That's pretty much my plan.
So I'm curious. Even though I just was almost mortally hurt, I'm curious if the unscrambled machine is unscrambled at the top. And
well, you know your sister's abilities well enough to know that should only work for a round, so it probably is no longer scrambled.
So it's possible so I'm bleeding, I'm hurt, I don't know what to do. I'm hoping something happens. Maybe it'll actually make this a real cave now because there's a force field preventing passage through. So I'm going to go into the cave mouth again on this lower end.
You step through the cave mouth. You feel kind of a weird sensation of like something trying to propel you somewhere else, but there's something preventing it. It's almost like you're taking a stutter step as you're crashing into something, but that sensation passes very quickly, and you step into the cave. And you are now inside the mouth of the dark cave.
All right, I will say, follow me, and move farther back.
Okay. You can move. It's dark back there, but there's enough light coming from the out. I mean, you're not going to trip over anything. But Ghela or Yaron, do you want to follow him?
Yes, please.
Yes, and Esyllt has her glow globe, right?
Sure. Yeah, she could have picked that up, I think.
And this cave, does it seem to be small enough that the eel creature would have a hard time getting into it?
Yes.
Into the cave.
Okay. The same thing happens to you. That there is this feeling like you stepped somewhere else for just a microsecond, but then hit some kind of resistance, and then you finish your step into the cave. And
Yaron is really impressed with Sunal and Ghela right now. They know their stuff.
Ghela and I had this planned, I say.
The three of you are now inside the cave, and like Sunal pointed out, there's no way that this weird floating flying creature could possibly get in there. Esyllt, what do you do?
Ooh, she did not anticipate this being the situation she would find herself in, frolicking among the flowers of the beautiful Valley of Sins. I think I said I wouldn't go far.
No, you couldn't have in one round.
Right. I see the last, bit of cape float through the through the entryway, and I take off running. I'm trained in running. I'm just going to try to book it and try not to get attacked by this horrible beastie.
Okay. Here's what I would like you to do. So this thing is going to try to react and snap its horrible mouth at you as you run by it to get at the cave entrance. But in this particular situation, I am going to give you the easing of the task that your training and running gives you.
Great.
Basically, your running is going to apply to your speed defense.
Right. Because this is sort of a snap attack on my way through.
Yes,
Cool.
yes. You're just trying to run as fast as you can.
All right. I will spend a level of effort. And so I'll ease it further.
Okay. So you're lowering by 2 steps, and you get...
I rolled a 10, and so it's not bad. This is
Let's see.
Giant beast, though. That's only a level.
What kind of what is Esyllt wearing? What is her clothing?
She looks like this, but she's got some leather armor that she's not particularly good at using, and then she's kind of
got a long coat.
Oh yeah, she picked up the coat after seeing Yaron, so blame him.
So this thing manages, as it closes its mighty jaws, it grabs the very end, the very hem of your long coat, and just tears away like the tail end of it as you manage to leap through the open cave mouth, and again go through that weird thing where you kind of stutter step into the cave, and then the thing just kind of glares at all of you through the cave mouth, sort of angrily, But it's not very long before it just gives up and swims through the airway. And you guys are now inside this cave. There are weird Numenera devices kind of all in a bank all along the back wall. You see synth panels and controls and whatnot, but everything seems to be not powered. So it's all dead. But nothing in here is particularly dusty or anything. I mean, there's a few cracks in the walls and whatnot from age, but it doesn't seem to have aged as much as it maybe normally would think it would. Certainly there's no debris or anything coming in from the woods around.
I look forward to exploring this, but I need to sit down on the ground and apply bandages because I'm incapacitated.
Okay.
I'm gonna sit near one of these objects and use illuminating touch to make the object illuminate everything, so that we can see to apply our bandages.
Right. Between that and Esyllt glow globe, you have the interior of this cave pretty well lit. It doesn't seem to be particularly large. It's maybe only about 10 paces across. There's just kind of it widened from the mouth of the cave. It widens, and there's a bank of controls and whatnot back there.
But it doesn't look like there's other exits to this room?
Nope, just the one.
Okay. I'm going to take a recovery roll.
Same here.
I rolled a 1. Nice.
And so what's your plan? What's your long-term intentions in here? Are you gonna
stay here a good couple hours, and then during that time, just try and figure stuff out.
Everybody, nobody gets to sleep. I'm vetoing sleep for the night. We can rest, but no sleeping. We had creepy whispers.
Right.
Nobody whispered to me, but until the end, I guess, right? Everybody heard that, right?
Yes.
Syl, you're learning quickly.
Never sleep.
Never sleep.
Don't sleep in the ruin.
And it's probably not even noon yet, right?
No.
We're not that lazy, so I'll stand guard while the siblings tear this stuff apart and find valuable and useful pieces.
So it's your intention ultimately to scavenge here and get good stuff?
Assuming we don't learn that we can actually use these controls to create some massive automaton that is the size of a city and walks. But failing that, then yes.
Oh, you learn exactly that.
Oh crap!
Awesome.
Well, Ghela, since you knew that it existed, you find the controls of where you think you could basically turn the force field off or on again, so that you could, in theory, leave the cave. But the rest of it seems pretty salvage worthy if you wanted to recover some stuff. And so, given that amount of time, I am given that there's no time pressure here, and you're working together. There's no role involved, and you find many useful units of synth and adaptive synth and some mimetic gel, all of which will be very useful and valuable if you can take it back to Ellomyr. This is sort of exactly the kinds of things that the people back in the city want and need to craft some interesting things. But in addition to that, you're also going to recover some interesting ciphers. You find something that you think it could be used as a level 4 cipher, something that you could, it just seems to be a ring, like a bracelet sized ring. And in fact, if you put it around your hand, you think if activated, you could, you could do to adjust your hand what Esyllt does naturally to her whole body. You could just sort of phase your hand and allow you could move in and touch things on that were otherwise protected.
Nice.
it's not exactly what Sunal dreamed and hoped, but you do find a small little box that you think that with some jury rigging and some rewiring, you could make it work like an autonomous little servant for about an hour. It would follow your voice commands, and it could form little limbs, and it could carry small things, and it could walk around and do things that you command it to, as long as it doesn't go too far away. And then lastly, you find something that you could pretty easily detach from the larger control panel and jury rig it with some bits and pieces that you might have laying around, and turn it into basically a detonation, an explosive device that would explode with fire and energy. And that's level 4, so it would do 4 points of damage.
All right. Shall we pass these around? I'll take the automaton if no one else wants it.
I'm so shocked by this.
Syl's eyes light up at the detonation when she sees what can be done.
Yaron?
I defer to you.
There's a hand-phasing cipher left.
I think Ghela is out right now, so maybe she should have that.
I am out, so I will happily take that.
Now, with all the iotum that we've looted, are we going to have a hard time carrying that back, or is it mostly just stuff we could fit in our backpacks?
You can carry it. I mean, it'll be a load, but it's not that far to the Gambero, and you've got some storage room in the Gambero, so that shouldn't be a problem.
Because if it were a lot, I could activate my floating cube cipher that can carry 2 people for an entire day. I assume we could load it up like a cart almost. Okay,
you could.
I'm a little worried about leaving out of here either way, though, with that thing outside.
Well, as you finish your scavenging and whatnot, salvaging, get things ready to go, there's been no sign of the big floating gravity beast. Even if you get to the edge of the cave and look out, as near as you can tell, it has gone back and joined its brethren, because there's no sign of one that's closer. You'll only see the ones that are orbiting. But as you pack up, you all hear in your minds a harsh whisper that says, "I'm waiting." And that's where we'll end the session.
Oh no, we're never going to get to sleep again.
Thanks, that was fun.
I'm going to try and
Look at all
find a
this stuff
cipher.
we got.
We did get stuff.
I want to try and find a cipher that means I never have to sleep. Did we get any shins out of that?
Oh yeah, thanks for reminding me. Yeah, you're able to pull 35 shins out of that as well.
Wow. Ghela has a house fund secret.
Awesome.
All right, well, thanks for playing, everybody. That was a lot of fun.
Yeah, it was.
Another
Super
foray into the Valley of Sins.
Yeah, and thanks
This
everyone who's
place-
been
And
watching.
successful.
Mhm.
Yeah, thanks to everybody for watching. This was a lot of fun.
The GM intrusion was perfectly timed. I
it was
appreciate that.
great.
And you didn't hurt my cool device. That's so
Yeah.
And a special thanks to everybody who has backed the Kickstarter.
Yes.
We really, really appreciate your support. That's why we're able to keep making cool Numenera stuff.
Yep, for sure.
All right. We'll hope to do more of these later on. So please stay tuned and, follow the Twitch stream if you're interested. And if you'd like to come talk to us, we're hanging out in the Kickstarter comments, but you can also follow us on Twitter. So Monty Cook Games has an official Twitter account at Monty Cook Games. That's pretty much where you can find us on Facebook and Google Plus too. But does everyone want to give their personal handles? So I'm Darcy L. Ross. Monty?
I'm Monty J. Cook, but Monty Cook Games also is a good place.
Mm-hmm.
I'm Bruce Cordell, just Bruce Cordell on Twitter.
I want to say like I'm 0011. I'm Shauna. I'm Shauna Germain.
And I'm Sean K. Reynolds, but like I said last game, I mostly just retweet stuff from MC.
Lovely. All right. Well, thanks for joining us, and please, share the Kickstarter. Let's see who else we can get to join us. We're running against that time period where people are going to have heard about us on Monday and feel very sad.
Yeah.
So, give us one last share and stay tuned to see what other stretch goals we might hit in these last few hours. So thank you so much.
We just hit 700 while we were playing. 700,000.
Oh, exciting.
I know. I can't wait to make
We're
all this
getting
stuff.
so close to the
Cool.
bestiary.
Wow. This is MCG's most successful Kickstarter in terms of funding that we have ever had, and that's really exciting.
Yeah.
We love to know that there's that much support for Numenera.
Thanks,
We
everybody.
did all the things.
All right. Thank you, everybody. Let's
Good night,
shut
guys.
down the stream.
Good night.